So for order of operations for fractions, we're pretty much doing the same thing you've done with fractions before, but this time we're going back to BODMAS. So remembering what order we have to do the adding, the subtracting, the dividing, or if we have any brackets. So I'll just write up here so we can remember BODMAS. And remember we've got brackets, order, which is to do with powers. We don't have any powers in these ones, but that would be what we'd do next. Division, multiplication, adding and subtracting. Now with the division and multiplication and the adding and subtracting, if you have a question where you just have either those two things, division and multiplying, or these two, adding and subtracting, you want to do the problem left to right. So for example, if I had 3 plus 2, I'd be doing it left to right. 3 plus 2, 5. So we're always looking out for, do we just have two of these, division or multiply, or two of these, add and subtract? Then it's just left to right. Now over here you can see we've got a mix. We've got some division and we've got some adding. So we're going to have to use BODMAS. Now the first thing we can see here is we've got brackets. So from B we're going to need to do the bracket part first. So I'm just going to do that. I'll highlight that, what we're doing first. We'll do that in blue. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to do that underneath here. So I'm going to look at the bracket part. So forget the other part of the problem and just look at 1/5 plus 1. Now we know from the work that you've done already with fractions that we'd need to have both of these fractions with a common denominator before we can add them. Now we've got 1/5. We know that we'd need to have a 5 as a denominator. But this is a whole number. Now remember, every whole number can be written as being over the top of 1. So this is 1 over 1. This is 1. Now looking at that, we know we have to have 5 on the bottom of both of these fractions. We've got it there already. So we'll have to multiply the bottom by 5 and multiply the top by 5 in this fraction. So now we've got 1/5 plus 5/5. And you may be able to go straight from 1 to 5/5. Any number over itself is always equal to 1. Okay, so now we've got both of these numbers over the same denominator. We can add them together and you can see that the bracket part is going to be 1 plus 5, which is 6/5. So what we now have, and I'm going to write this in red as we're going, we haven't done anything with the 2, we haven't done anything with the divide yet, but we have done the bracket. And the bracket, 1/5 plus 1, is 6 over 5. Okay, so now I'm going to do the next part. This 2 divided by 6 over 5. Now when we're doing dividing, remember that this really boils down to multiplying. Okay, we have that stay, change, flip that we use when we're dividing. And I'll just put that back here so we can remember. Stay, change, flip. So what that means we're going to do here, I'll do this in green, is that we've got our first number to stay, we change the sign to multiply, and we flip the second fraction. Now it's a little bit hard for us to multiply these because with multiplying we know we want to use that method of tops and bottoms. Yeah, now tops and bottoms was where we were looking at multiplying the things across the top and multiplying the numbers across the bottom as well. Now remember, any whole number can be written as the number over 1. So that helps you to get that whole number into a fraction. And we're going to times by 5 over 6. So all we've done is just put a over 1 here for the 2, so we've got fractions. So now we can tops and bottoms. Those two multiply together and those two multiply together. So we're going to have 2 times 5, which is 10, over the top of 1 times 6. I should put times as here as well, make sure we're timesing. So 6 underneath. All right, so what we've done is we've found 2 divided by 6 over 5, stay, change, flip, and we've made sure we have everything as a fraction. So the answer, and I'll put this in black, to our original problem is 10 over 6. Now if you wanted to, you could do that as a mixed number as well. So remember, with a mixed number, how many times does 6 go into 10? It goes 1 time, and you would have 4 left over. So you would have 4/6 or 4/6 left over. So that's a mixed number answer. If it doesn't tell you whether it needs to be improper or mixed, either one of those would be correct. Okay, so order of operations there, all we did was we made sure we did our brackets first and then we did our division next because that's what comes next in BODMAS. So another example, same idea, having a look, there's no brackets, so we don't need to do anything there. There's no powers. Division, there is a division, so we're going to have to do the division first. Okay, so I'm just going to highlight that so I know what I'm working on. So again, I just do that off on the page just underneath. So I've got 7/5 divided by 1/3. Again, this is a division, so I'm going to use that stay, change, flip. So stay, change the sign, flip the second one. And then again, because we've got multiplying, tops and bottoms, tops go together, bottoms go together. 7 times 3 is 21, 5 times 1 is 5. So what we know now, and I'll put this in red, we haven't done anything with the 9/2, that's the same. Take away. We did this part here because it was the division. And when we did that division, we got 21/5. Okay, so we're half done. Now we have to work on this subtraction because subtraction, there's no multiplying, there's no adding, but we do have subtraction. So we're going to do that next. So I'll do this in different colour, just over here. So we've got 9/2, take away 21/5. Now looking at the bottom here, we know that we want to have the same denominator. And that same denominator is going to be if you multiply these together. So multiplying the 2 and the 5 gives me 10. So that's going to be my new denominator. Okay, remember that multiplying those two together is what gives you that new denominator. Now we know we need to get both of these over the same denominator before we can add and subtract. So remember with this section here, we always have to have the same denominator. I'll just put denom. Okay, so let's have a look. Again, I'm going to write them out. So we've got 9/2, so 9, and we want to have 10 underneath. So we're going to have to multiply the bottom by 5 to get a 10 down there. Do the same to the top. And our other fraction, which was 21/5, we need 10 on the bottom again. So we're going to times that by 2. That's going to give us 10 times the top by 2. All right. So our last line of working here, 9 times 5, 45/10, minus, so that's that one done. 21 times 2, that's 42. 5 times 2 is 10. Done that one. So our answer, 45 minus 42, it's quite nice really, turns into 3/10. So what we've done with this subtraction is put everything over the same denominator. We know we want it to be 10. That's easiest if you multiply the denominators together. So 2 times 5 gives you 10 on the bottom, same to the top and bottom. 5 times 2 gives you 10, same to the top and bottom. And once we had the same denominator, we could subtract them. So that means for our original problem, 9/2 minus 7/5 divided by 1/3, this part first, where we got 21/5, and then we did our subtraction, and we got 3/10. And that's already a proper fraction. It doesn't need to be converted to a mixed number. So fractions, order of operations, really just the same as when we were dealing with integers or whole numbers. BODMAS, so make sure you do everything in order. Okay, generally I'd take off, just write on a different part of the page what you're looking at. So if you're doing the brackets or the dividing or the adding, and do it in steps. Okay, putting back what you find into your equation until you get to your answer.